I'm going to talk about deep tech, resilience, and about Israel. So I'll begin in a few words about myself. I'm an Israeli. I was the head of the microprocessors department at the Israeli Navy. I established M Systems that was sold to SanDisk for $1.6 billion. I'm known as the inventor of the USB flash drive, USB stick. I was the chairman of a company called Tower Semiconductors. It's in Israel, in the northern part of the country. Fabrication, it's a company who manufactures chips. Took it from practically bankruptcy, or very, very close to bankruptcy, to a company with value of several billions of dollars. I established Growth Ventures, my fund, venture capital fund, early stage, which is known as one of the best funds in Israel. And numbers talk. I can't talk about numbers, but I won't do that. And one more thing, I do have a band, by the way, amazing band. I'm a writer, I wrote 2 books, the third one is on the way. But here comes the point. I do have failures in my history, many more failures than anybody of yours. And failures is part of deep tech, is part of high tech, and is part of success. And the issue with failures is that you fail, you fall. And what you need to do after falling is get back on your legs and continue going. And this is the meaning of resilience, which I would like to speak about. Next. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about history. Last history of the current 2 years. So clearly, this is the age of AI. Everything is AI. You know it, you understand it, but in a sense, OpenAI, great player, great winner. But after OpenAI, there is a race, and clearly everybody is getting into that. Meta, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, you name it. But there is one clear winner. And who is the winner? NVIDIA, with a market valuation of $3 trillion. And I can say that we predicted it, everybody can say it, but the one thing which is unclear is NVIDIA is the hardware and the others are software. So not too many companies or entities talked about the power of, or the need in a hardware, because guys, there is something important to understand. Software needs to run somewhere. So, we can talk about the situation where infrastructure follows applications, and it's a cycle that goes on and on. And if you look at the history of high tech for the last 50, 60 years, from the beginning practically, you could see like first there was infrastructure, microprocessors came to the world. Then people say, hey, microprocessors, we can do applications, we can use it for X, Y, Z. PC came to the world, and now lots of applications around the PC. But at some time, the situation where the PC was standalone wasn't good enough. And then came networking, internet, infrastructure. And what happens after the infrastructure? Applications, many applications. But then, hey, these applications are running great to communicate among computers. But we need something which is much more important and heavy and required. This is cloud. So here comes the cloud. And then application of cloud, and so on. So this cycle of infrastructure and applications are coming one after the other. And that's one of the reasons that for the last years, we hear a lot from VCs, the statement that they are shifting toward deep tech. Actually, if you look at Israel, we have about 200 funds in Israel. You see many funds that are saying that we do fintech, cyber, and deep tech. That's a nice statement, but can anybody do deep tech? That's a question. So deep tech is not obvious, and if you do invest in deep tech, you need to have domain expertise. You need to have deep know-how. You need to have advanced engineering knowledge, manufacturing capabilities, or of the ability to understand what manufacturing is, absolutely not obvious, and a combination of software and hardware. And we at Grove do have this expertise. I can talk about the people and what makes us the right guys for that. But one more thing which is required, if you want to invest in deep tech, is resilience. And why resilience? So let's talk about two examples of resilience. And the first one is NVIDIA. Everybody knows the story of NVIDIA. Founded 1993, IPO 1999, first GPU, then public. If you look at the slide of revenues of NVIDIA, that looks amazing. Everybody would love to see these great numbers, but take a look. Even at these revenues, there were 3 years where the company fall in revenues. And guess what? When the company fell in revenues, the stock went down to very low numbers. And probably this is a company public in the States. I can bet with you, I didn't check it, that they were sued for not promising not standing to their promises. But here comes few facts, other facts about NVIDIA, and that's a real story. NVIDIA was established, as I said, 1993. The idea was to make a graphic cards for the PC. This was not the first days of PC, but PC just began to deal with graphics, and there was no standard. So the guys defined a standard for graphics and actually went to develop the card. Well, bad luck. That happens many times in deep tech companies. They finished to do their first card. Meanwhile, Microsoft, that understood that there should be a definition for graphics, they defined the standard. And guess what happened? The standard of Microsoft and what NVIDIA developed didn't match. Didn't match. Cancel it. They were lucky to find Sega. Sega, it's the Dreamcast machine, gaming machine. Sega said, we need graphic card because, hey, this is gaming machine, need graphics and so on. And they gave the contract to NVIDIA to develop the graphic card for the Sega, graphic chip for the Sega. And the guys worked very hard. The idea was we'll develop the chip for Sega. When Sega will get into production, the estimations were between 1 to 2 million units that Sega will sell. Sega will buy the components. We will make money from the components we will sell to Sega. But short time before finishing the design, Sega understood that the graphic designed by NVIDIA, which was 2G, is not sufficient. Others came with 3G, and there is no future for that. So Sega took a decision to switch to another player, whoever its name, that had 3G these days. Now, if you look at the picture of the CEO of Sega, he's Japanese. That's the lack of NVIDIA. Probably should be American or Israeli or I don't know what. Guys, the contract ended. That's it. Thank you very much. We are going to use another chip. But as a Japanese, he went to meet, the CEO of Sega went to meet Jensen and said, guys, that's reality, very sorry. Japanese, very sorry. And the CEO of NVIDIA said, guys, you are killing my company because we built our future on the concept that we will sell you components. So he said, okay, I understand. I do not want to be the bad guy that killed your company. I'll give you $5 million investment. And in this $5 million investment, the CEO of NVIDIA gathered these people. He had 100 people. He fired 50% of them. He said, guys, we need to go back to our original idea of graphic card to the PC. We have 1 year of activity, no weekends, no nights. Anybody who wants to go. And by the way, until the end of the development, which took exactly a year, another 10 people left. So he finished, actually, he got into the production when he had only 40 people and zero money. But the card was really amazing, great success, and the company made its success the way it is. There is a statement from Jensen that our company is always 30 days from going out of business. He used to say this statement, by the way, for many, many years, until it became a joke. So he stopped about 15 years ago, but for many years, the idea was, hey, we are going out of business, we have to work very hard. Guys, the stories of success are not simple. nothing is simple, especially when it gets into deep tech, where you can develop an amazing idea, and it takes time, and you get to the market while the market changed, the competition changed, the needs changed, everything is different. That's very, very tough. But by the way, it's tough, but that's a way to get to a $3 trillion valuation. I'll talk about another example which is closer to me. That's M Systems, my company. We were founded in 1989. First flash drive, 1992. USB stick was invented by me in 1999, actually. And you know, that's the revenues in the last 6 years of existence. We grew from $45 million in 2001 to over $1 billion in 2006. This is the 24x multiply in 5 years. This is quite impressive. Everything seems great, right? So let me tell you the secrets behind. First thing, in any quarter, in the last 22 quarters, every quarter of these 22 quarters, there was a problem, a big problem, which made me be concerned about the company continuation. QA problem. Dell was a great customer. They left us at some time. We had a flash agreement with Samsung. At some time, they just ignored the agreement. We had to go to court with them. You know, I can name every quarter and the problem behind this quarter. Nothing was simple. We grew from one quarter to another, not from fourth quarter versus fourth quarter the year before, but first quarter to second quarter to third quarter by about 20 to 30% every quarter. And still, every quarter, I was concerned that we are going to terminate or to finish our life as a company. We developed our own products. We found ourselves competing in an impossible to win battle with Intel. So stupid we were. We gave it sometime our IP free because we thought, hey, if we give it free, then companies will come to us. But if we go at these years of growth, you can see one thing. Maybe the most important year was 2002 or the transition from 2002 to 2003. That was done at the middle of the Intifada, where buses were blown up in Tel Aviv. When I prepared this slide, one of my partners asked me, you know, I saw the company in 2006. Wasn't it at the days of the Lebanon wars? And I said, no, I don't think so. I think that Lebanon war was 2008. It wasn't. We looked at the dates. I saw the company exactly when we had the Lebanon war, and I was so much focused on doing that I didn't notice that there is a war. That's the way it goes, yeah? So, in Israel, and deep tech in general, resilience is truly very, very significant. And the ones who don't have it, just don't do it. And that gets me into the last slide. So, when we look at companies in general, what are we looking for? Well, I always ask this question in universities, is IQ important? Now, you know what happens? The students are overly sophisticated. They say, no. I say, no, guys, you're wrong. IQ is important. We don't invest in idiots. But IQ is not the most important. EQ is much, much more important. EQ is the emotional quotient. It's how can you lead in such terms? Can you make people go to you, to the unknown? Can you actually come to the office and smile very nice when you know that there is not enough money to pay the salaries of the next month? It's how to make the connections with your investors, with your customers. This is EQ. People are going to buy from you guys. I'm talking to the entrepreneurs here, not because you have a great product, that helps, of course, but because of the relations you create with them. This is much more important. So EQ is very crucial. But then comes something else that people don't understand, or many people don't understand, and that's something called AQ. And AQ is the adversity quotient. This is the ability to sustain tough situations. This is the ability to fall and get up on your legs and continue running. Not going, but running. So deep tech entrepreneurs must be resilient. deep tech investors must be resilient because we invest in companies that would go through many, many problems and failures, and we have to be in a position that we support them. As a Dov, we are highly involved in all our companies. We are at the board of every company that we invest in. We are highly selective. This is a lot of discipline. We see in a year about 1,500 opportunities. And do you know in how many we invest? 5 to 6. But if we invest, we are deep into them with all the efforts required and everything that will take these companies into success. So, last word is about Israel and how do we connect it to Israel. Israel as a nation is inherently resilient. We went through many wars. We went through tough economical situations. We came to a place which practically was a desert. We came from the Holocaust. We came from a variety of countries. Lots of issues, problems, difficulties, but we are resilient. It's part of the DNA of the country. And we are not in great position today. We are not in great position, both from the external situation, and I'll be very frank with you, with the internal situation, which worries me much more than the external situation. That's our reality these days. But we are resilient, and because of that, we will get back to our position as a democratic country, safe, tech-driven, with deep starve to peace with our neighbors and creating amazing high-tech companies that would make this world much better. Thank you very much.